Good morning, everyone. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of us here together this morning. Last Sunday, I received a text at 8 o'clock in the morning from Dr. Cavallo, who said we have a great opportunity to bring the Minister of Culture and Creative Industries from Cape Verde to the United States. He's here on official business and has some free time to come visit with us and share some information about his country, and it's just a great opportunity for us as young people to learn different cultures and learn from someone who's in a very high and important position. So on behalf of Leominster High School, I first want to thank Dr. Cavallo for pulling this off this morning on such short notice. I also want to thank all of you for taking part in government, and taking part in STUMP, and taking part in student council, and taking part in your world language classes this morning, and for welcoming Dr. Vincente. At this time, I'm going to ask Keegan Casey to step forward and introduce our guest.
All right, good morning, everyone. So it is my honor to announce that STUMP has sponsored a speaker to come to talk to us today at Leominster High School with the collaboration from Dr. Carvalho and the World Language and Fine Arts Department. We are eternally grateful that our guest has taken the time out of his busy schedule to come talk to us. Hailing all the way from Cape Verde, we welcome Dr. Abraham Vincente, the Cape Verdean Minister of Culture and Creative Industries. Dr. Vincente is a visual artist and writer. He graduated from the University Nova of Lisbon in Portugal with a degree in sociology. Prior to becoming a cabinet member in April of 2016, Dr. Vincente was an influential member of the Cape Verdean Congress and hosted several primetime TV shows. Without further ado, may we please welcome Dr. Abraham Vincente.
So I'm Abraham. In Portuguese, it's not Abraham. In Portuguese, we say Abraão. Do you learn Portuguese? Yeah. Spanish? Muito bem. Então posso falar em português? Posso? I'm trying to find someone who understands me, really. Portuguese people from Brazil. So I'm from a very small country, so for me it's an honor to be here. If you search in Google, maybe you will not find Cape Verde in the map. It's really a very small country. But we have one Cape Verdean here. It's a Cape Verdean people. She's from my island. I'm from an island called Santiago Island. I can tell you my story. I'm an official painter, writer. I have five books published in Europe, in Portugal, in Spain, in Italy. I made a lot of expositions, or art expositions, in Peking, Tokyo, Lisbon. I lived in Barcelona, in Portugal, in Milan, and in 2006 I go back to my country because I believe if I'm always asking, my country is not good in a good hands, I must do something for my country. So this is the reason why I come back to my country and I integrate the political party. And in 2011, I was elected as a national deputy. I was very young, and everyone told you are so young. You know nothing about running a country. So in 2016, I made a candidacy to be part of the government. I was elected, and I am the youngest minister in the story of my country. Not because I'm very special, because I tried. That's my Fox message. If you try and you believe in your country, you must get ready to participate and to make candidacy. People will not knock in your door and say, come and be a minister, come here in your country, come and be your senator or president of the United States. You must run, you must believe, you must have the cause, the main cause you believe in. We are in a time everyone is in the social, Facebook, Instagram, putting things, have opinions, but as Martin Luther King said, you can change the world by your opinion. You change the world by your action. So that's the reason why how many years you think I have? 20? Yes? No, I have 39. And I have 10 years in politics. And I believe I'm in the right place to not change the world, but change my country. And I think this is very important. And for you, I think you must know all the world is taking the United States as an example. Everything happens in the United States can change the world. Everyone is talking about your president, the walls, everything United States make can change, really change the world. So I think you can change the world. If you decide to make part of the politics, everyone who someday can be a senator, a president of the United States, maybe you can change, you can really change the world. Every time my prime minister and my president send me to important conference in Peking, in Beijing, in some country in Africa, I always see to my country, to my flag, and I'm very honored. But I always think my country is very small. My country is not like Brazil, a continental country. Brazil can change the world if you want, because you have Amazon, you have everything. But I'm not going to speak about Brazil right now. And you know I know. But I think if you see for your country and see where you can put your hands, every small cause can be big causes. That's the reason why I know my country is a very small country, but when I run the world and see a Cape Verdean studying in a big country like this, what I say to this girl is, make your best, represent our country. And when I see a big country sitting beside me, I say, whoa, my country is small, but I can vote like United States, like Brazil, like Portugal, like European countries. It's not the size of the country who counts. It's the way the country run and give example to the other countries. When you have time to search for countries in Africa, like everyone in other continents, I think Africa is a country. Africa have, Julio, help me? 54 countries. And when you have time, search for a country called Rwanda, the Nelson Mandela country, South Africa, Namibia, Senegal, and try to find my country, Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde is so small, when you open the map, world map, maybe you will not find Cape Verde. But if you find search for landscape from Cape Verde, you will find, in my point of view, one of the most beautiful countries in the world. And there in Cape Verde, we have Americans living. Not just American, but Cape Verdean American. People who live here, but when they know Cape Verde, they stay in Cape Verde. Because we have a good quality of life, beautiful. I think everything is beautiful. You must go there. But as a young country, we have a lot of challenges, and the challenge need people to resolve, to put the country working. That's the reason why I'm spending maybe the next 10 years in politics, trying to give my part of the contribution to my country. And after that, I will go back to the arts. Right now, I'm in the politics. I can, as a Minister of Culture, I can make exposition in the national aid space, because I have to have space to other artists. But I think in the future, my arts can contribute to to make my country known in the world, but that more is make influence the other people's lives. As you say, Julio told me to talk to you about language. As you say, my English is not perfect, but this is the signal I speak other language. In Cape Verde we must learn Portuguese, French, some Spanish, and Creole. So, and English, right now we are trying to put English in the national education system. So, we are a small country, but maybe the majority of Cape Verde speak 4 or 5 languages. That's one important skills to the actual world. When I come to Africa, most of the countries in Africa speak French. Part of the country speak English. But I live in Barcelona, in Spain. I learned Spanish. So, language is a very important skill. And most of my American friends don't speak any language, just English. So, I think you are in time to try to learn another language. I think it's very important to understand what other people think. The same of Brazil. I think Brazil is investing a lot in the near past in language, in English. But I think Brazil is, if you understand what Brazilians can say, the music of Brazil, you will understand better your friends from Brazil. If you read the writers from Brazil in Portuguese, you will understand better your friends and your neighbors from Brazil. And if you know a little bit of French, I think you will understand better the international culture from the past centuries. So I think language is not mandatory to know other language, but you must see, I repeat this idea, I'm from a very small country. If I don't speak other language, I will be always alone. Just you to know, my country have 500,000 people. I think this is a city in the United States, a village, like that. But we are 500,000 living in Cape Verde and 1 million living in other countries. But in other countries, they speak other language. I have Cape Verde people living in French or African French speaking countries. When I go there as a government member, I must speak their language. But most of the time, I must speak in Creole, is our national language. Creole is a mix of Portuguese and African language. So if you want someday to go to a new continent and discover a new world, I recommend Africa. I think the African countries, you can find all the animals you can see in the Disney films, but you can see it for real, and you can feel what the world was in the past. The big animals, and see it in the natural landscapes, and see the people, and see how we are all equals. Not black and Latins and whites and everything. I see here mixed people. And I think it's very important in a school like this to promote the diversity. And this is why my generation I'm qualified as the new generation of African leaders. We are always speaking about diversity, about integration, about tolerance. And I think when we see the international politics this is everything people don't want to hear right now. And it's important to you as a new generation to see we are richer, have more research if we integrate the diversity. And I'm very proud to see Cape Verdean here. And she's very, very clever. She very clear what she wants to do. And yesterday I went in Brockton, with the Cape Verdean community, and a lot of young Cape Verdean, but they are born here, and they feel the mixed feeling. I'm American, but I'm Cape Verdean, and I say to them, be American. You are in America. You will never feel free from the Cape Verdean feeling. So one day you can go back to Cape Verde. This is to tell you it's important to not be closed in our world. It's important to know the rest of the world. The world is not just the Facebook, Instagram, and all this stuff. And it's more interesting when you take a plane or you go there and find people. You can find real people doing stuff you think, oh, this is past. But the past belongs to the present and to the future. Right now you live in the prime world, the first world. But you must go there to the other countries to see are people like you challenging a lot of difficulties to access to minimum service, you know. I have a lot of Cubans come to the United States to have health care, to have education. So for me it's a privilege to be here as a government, to be invited from the school, just to speak this world and to say to you, I think when you think I have nothing to say or nothing to do, if you not belong, if you not fit here, you can go to other countries. As human beings, I think you belong to the humanity and to the world. If you don't have a place or you don't feel integrated in a society, don't feel this is, I see a lot of people killing themselves or depression because they don't feel integrated here or in the place or in the country they born. For me, it's important to you to feel the world as your home, as your place. That's the most important feeling. I have two nationalities. I'm Portuguese and Cape Verdean. But I choose Cape Verde because I think Cape Verde is the country who needs me most. So I'm in Cape Verde. It's not easy, for me it was an easy choice. I born there. But for you, I think as American, you have a great responsibility because the rest of the world see in America a country who is leading the world. So I think the leadership can come from here will be very important to the rest of the world. So for me, it's an honor to make this speech here because maybe the future president of the United States will be here, and someday he or she will remember. Someday I hear a minister from a small country in Africa asking me to go to Africa and do something. And it's very important to you to learn what other countries are doing right now for the rest of the world. It's important to you to know what China is doing, what the African country is doing, of the Union European are doing, and maybe think what United States can make better to be in place to not control, but to make good things in our continent. So that's it. I will be open to answer questions if you have some. For me, it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Do we have some questions? Yes.
Do you think if you hadn't traveled outside of the area that you've been as inspired as you were to make a change in your own country?
No, absolutely not. If I didn't have the chance to travel, to know the numbers of countries I know, maybe I will think Cape Verde was the best place to me. But when you see other people, other countries, you see we are different, but we challenge the same challenge. We have to, right now, everyone is talking about the climate change. And some people think they can believe or not. This is not a question of believe or not. It's happening. Some people make their speech because they are interested to people to not believe they are climate change. But they are climate change. Go to Africa, go to the small island who is losing land because the level of the sea. You can see that. But I think I had the privilege to travel, to have a good school in Europe. I had the chance to make great exposition with great artists. I'm not the normal Cape Verdean, I know that. That's the reason why I'm in Cape Verde working with the normal Cape Verdeans. And I think it's the best investment you can do if you can is travel. And go there and be with the people, learn the language if you have the time. And I think there is no bad. You can see all the people who is very rich and depressed, very famous and totally lost. I think human beings have to have something bigger than us to believe and to do and to work for. That's the reason why I think it's important to me to pass what is my experience. Always knowing is not the best experience. I know people who are working harder and have a great, best opportunity than me. But I think as a Cape Verde, always say, small country, 500,000 people, but we are a country. We have a flag, and we can be with other big countries doing what we do. So I think it's very important to travel and know other countries.
So what I took from that answer is he's invited all of us to Cape Verde for the April vacation. Any questions? And there is a mic coming, yes. Come on down.
So, how many languages are you fluent in?
Well, I speak Creole, it's my maternal language, Portuguese, French, Spanish, and I'm trying to learn English. 5.
So going back to climate change, what are some of the steps your country is taking to kind of combat the effects of it?
First of all, we are Iceland, so we are in the first line of countries who will be affected by the climate change. But also we are in the middle of the Atlantic. We will not be the first. But right now we are trying to eliminate all the plastics, all the pollution, air pollution from the industry. They pay more, but we're trying to not have industry who pollute the air. And we're trying to make the best practices, but it's a process. Always, you can take a law, you can put a law and say the law can change everything. You must work with the next generation to pollute less and to be very conscious what they consume. It's everything about human consumption. What you buy, how you buy, what you buy, how the way you raise the animals, what you eat. It's not easy. It's not an easy question. It's not just the glaciers are our behavior is the most important. So right now in all this education system, we are educating our generation and the next generation to be more conscious about our environment. That's the point.
Hi, what has been the most memorable experience as the Minister of Culture? What has been the most memorable experience as the Minister of Culture?
A lot. I started in 2016, so I make all when I start, everyone say you are very radical, you are changing everything. But first of all, changing the legislation is very hard because you have to convince all the national deputies to vote your law. And I achieved unanimous voting in the parliament in every law I present in the Parliament. Why that's important? Because we start with the law. If you change the law, you can after make the pedagogy in the society. People can learn. But the best. Right now, I have a 9 million program to restore all the national patrimony, our patrimony. Right now, we are restoring church for the 15th century, 19th century. We are making a great job people can feel our job. We are giving fees to artists, to international exposition. We are financing CDs. We are promoting real new artists, For me, the most important thing in my position is the power to make decisions. When you can decide who can have a fee to make a new CD, to a new song, to record, to travel. This is a power. You can use it or not. You can let the money in the resting or you can invest in people. And for me, the most important is the power to take the public, the money and put it in the hand of the right people to get the right investment. But if you ask me, the great project is a national program who paid is the national program I found is who paid scholarship for poor children to get artistic lessons. Right now I have 5,000 children, is my children, who learn music, dance, and everything connect to art. For me, is the next generation. Every politics, when we change the government, politics can change your program. But I think my children will never be raised with what they learn in schools. For me, that's the best investment.
What made you realize you wanted to do this, since you started so young?
I don't know if it's when, but when I'm returned to Cape Verde, I lived for the last 4 years. I lived outside Cape Verde, was in Barcelona, and I was young and crazy, and I believe, everything is fine, everything is cool. But when I come back to Cape Verde, I feel okay. It's enough. You cannot be drunk your whole life in international city, just having fun. When I come back in the vacation, I see a lot of things I will do in another way. But I had the conscience. I always read Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. These guys. And I see, well, this is my time to make my contribution. So I start writing in newspapers, and everyone say, you are very hard, you are so radical. You must be in a party, or you are just a guy who is criticizing. You are just telling things, but you are not, if you're not ready to go to the politics and do the things you say they must do, you are just a fool. You are just writing and telling. Yeah? So I decide I must be in the politics, because trying and give my time in politics is not easy to get out. I always say that. When you get in politics, you start working, always you say, well, it's enough, appear another good project, and you always ask, I'm the best person to do that or not? And right now, I think I'm in the right position to make the things I'm doing. But I think it's not for life. I think it's politics. You must change people, because when you are in the position with a lot of power, always you get, with the time you starting making the wrong decisions. And I think in politics it's always good to renew the who is in charge. So I think I'm very young. Maybe more 5, 10 years I will be in active politics. But I think we'll never get out of the social and the public debates. And maybe I will get a foundation. I will work because right now in Africa I see not just cable. I see my continent, a lot of challenge, and I think for the next decade I will be working for my country.
And just so that you know, we enjoyed a laugh here because Dr. Carvalho and Dr. Vicente are on opposite sides of the political spectrum in Cape Verde. But he just said to me, and it's a very good point, we may oppose each other, but the bottom line is when we make a decision, it's for the best part of Cape Verde, the Cape Verdean people and the country comes first. One more, sorry. Sure, yeah, go ahead.
So you mentioned language was a really important aspect in your country. Are there any other educational subjects that you focus on there?
Now, in Cape Verde, we have right now we are a strong investment in technologies. Here in the United States, maybe you can see as natural when you go to the classroom and you see the computers, the internet, but in Cape Verde it's not like that. In Africa, it's not like that. Our government is investing in what for you maybe is natural, but in some islands we don't have internet. We have internet, but we don't have internet in the classrooms. But we are investing in mathematics, in science, but also in arts. I'm strongly support the national program for arts because I think just science and technology will not be enough to make good citizens. I think the sensibility to understand arts make great citizens. And when you listen to good music, you see good art, I think you can make better decisions. When I arrived in the government, I changed literally everything in the government palace because there was very crap art. They buy everything. And I think it's very important to learn. If you see the books, you can see what everyone I make art. No, there is good art and bad art. You must know about that. There is good music and bad music. You can enjoy bad music, but it's bad music. Yeah. And if you know other language, you can. What I say when you listen to Brazilian music, you can find great musicians, and they know. In my countries, no. In my countries too. Right now, we have a lot of festivals, and we have some very young artists, but some concentrated artists who make terrible music, and they all come to me to have fees and to have scholarship, to have support. But I always decide for me what I think is good for the public sector to finance. I can say a guy who make a bad music or bad painting, don't do that. You can still do that, but I will not pay. I will not finance, the public sector will not finance the bad. I think art you must have a educational part in art. It's not just fun, but we are in a free world. I think people should continue to do what they think is art or they love, but I think the state and government must have a clear program to introduce in the national system and the galleries and the national auditoriums. The music can help people to be better people. So I'm not saying you must always listen to classic music or the fancy galleries and national. No, they are very contemporary music, very contemporary artists are very amazing. But you have to have the skills to understand and to understand what is good, what is not. And that is not school will teach you. I think all of us, I'm come from a family, we don't really have art in our home. But I try to learn by myself. And when I arrived to Europe, everyone, oh, you are from a fancy family, everyone, you know arts because your father and your mother, it's wrong. I learned myself, I learn in the books, I read in the books, so I think everyone can do that. That's not a question of national system, it's you choose what is good for you. That's it. I think with a phone you can do everything right now in the days of in today. So you have to have skills and to have people around you to teach you how to arrive in the good arts. That's it.
All right, on behalf of Leominster High School, and this plaque reads, Leominster High School, Leominster, Massachusetts, United States of America, presented to His Excellency, Dr. Abreu Vincente, the Cape Verdean Minister of Culture and Creative Industries, for delivering an inspirational speech to Leominster High School students, October 10th, 2019. We hope he takes this and our other gifts back to his country and remembers us fondly.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vincente. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And on behalf of the World Language and Fine Arts Department, and with the guidance stewardship of our dear Dr. De Carvalho, and with the help of Keegan Casey, we thank you very much. We'd like to bestow this gift upon you. It is art. It is not your art. Okay, you can open it now if you wish, or you can wait. It is your choice. All right, but we wanted you to remember your trip to Massachusetts and think of us fondly when you look at it. Background in surgery. You're very surgical with the removal.
On peut parler en français un petit peu.
There is a platform the head of our English department.
Conciencia de que es necesario contribuir, como estamos en nuestro país. Aquí vas a tener la competencia de la gran mucha gente.
So we don't have the labs that we used to,
Aquele prazer, tudo bem?
Diga como eu chamo você. Diga
Ah, ele me chama de papagaio.
Ele fala muito.
Porque eu falo muito. Eu não calo minha boca, eu só fico falando.
Mas estás aqui desde quando?
Eu nasci aqui, mas em 2012 eu fui pro Brasil.
Ah, we'll be in Colombia in December. In Bogotá. Yes, I know. Oh.
Dr. Nowitzki, the student said he likes your music. Basically, make sure you write.
Yeah, don't steal my music. It was a gift from Dr. Cavallo.
You like it? Yes, I like it. National music, Morna. Very nice. From Morna, we have a candidacy for World Patrimony. And we'll be in Bogota.
Disperse.
Please. You can take a knee if we want.
Just go like this. Okay, I can't see that.
Are we not?
Oh my God, good talking.
Yeah, it's so closer.
I'm like in it enough.
Now Keegan's taller, Connor's gonna be mad. Yeah.